Good afternoon, Ed. Andy Taylor here, Senior Project Manager with Red Rock Roofing. I'm at 2931 Cortez here in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm going to do a quick inspection video for the roof. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is usually going to be the sand-like substance in the gutters. There's a lot of debris in here, so it doesn't show the sand, but it's definitely lost quite a few granules on this roof for sure. Now, next thing I want to point out is going to be your lack of drip edge flashing. So drip edge by code is a 2x2 inch L-shaped flange that goes over the fascia here and back under the shingle. What that does is simply encapsulates all the eaves and rakes, is going to protect you from any wind-driven rain, ice damming runoff, and ultimately water migration. So back when the home was built, that wasn't code, but now has become code and will definitely have to be put on in the event of a replacement. The valleys do have valley metals. These valley metals are really obsolete. Now with metal, when you start nailing all these shingles down in this valley, all those nails are going into that valley metal and definitely making penetration points for water to migrate. Now, the first thing an adjuster will look for when getting onto your roof to do a claim for insurance is called collateral damage. And that is simply signs and indicators on the soft metals that there has been a storm in the area. Now, we went over briefly of your rain cap here just to kind of show that there has been definitely hail. Once an adjuster verifies that there has been hail in the area, the next thing you're looking for is called spalding. Spalding is when hail strikes a shingle, actually dislodges the granules to expose the fiberglass undermatting. That's what these marks I'm showing you here look like. Now, the way they classify this damage is within a 10 by 10 foot square, one on each major slope. If you can find 6 to 10 of these marks, depending on the insurance company, then on paper, you gain the eligibility and a full replacement at insurance expense, of course, minus your deductible. Now, in doing corresponding spot checks, I have found far upward of the necessary amount of damage in order to get insurance involved, and I would definitely say at this point it's time you know what your options are. For lack of a better term, this roof has definitely seen its best days. Underfoot, this roof is very crispy. That tells me a lot about ventilation on the roof. For your garage, you have 2 turtle vents. Now on the main home, you have 3. Now this is a really perfect candidate for what we call a ridge vent. Ridge vent goes end to end all the way across, and that creates what we call a convection. So air is coming in from the softening and exiting out the very top. With that convection, you always have air moving in the attic space that cools the inner thermal envelope down and definitely helps to stop cooking the shingles. Again, underfoot very crispy. Now, I have found quite a bit of zippering, what we call it up here, where when I lift one shingle up, it in turn lifts the next shingle right up above it. That's called zippering. Now with that, some of these shingles that we found out here that are doing this, their thermal adhesive underneath is completely cured. So it's no longer holding these shingles down. I'm gonna show you right here. So this one is completely lifting up. Now with that, again, another indication of poor ventilation. It means the attic space usually gets hot. I'm pretty sure the bedrooms on the inside get hot in the summer. You do have some exposed nails that should be sealed with silicone just to really make sure that's not a penetration point. Now, the skylights was something that you wanted us to come out here and look at. With that, you can see that the skylight is all condensated. I believe that this is some of the condensation, and really from the thermal envelope and the living space inside, you can tell that is getting into this area. Now, the cold air outside versus the hot air that's coming in from the inside, when you got the heat cranked up, that's what creates things like this. These beautiful, as they call them, skylights, they shouldn't be doing this at all, and all 3 of these are doing it. So to combine with the minimal ventilation, you've got lots of thermal cracking going on here. Just another indication for ventilation. I want to address over here by the chimney in the back flat part. So right here by the chimney, I could see that you've added some flashing here. Now all of these nails should be sealed with silicone, as long as this edge as well. It looks like you've done silicone on the edge, but not the nails. So obviously this has been a problem in the past. There's all kinds of silicone and really tar, it looks like, going around it. Getting down to the flat section part, and that part of the chimney, you can see that the flashing here is actually lifted, and even some of the tar that you've put down is no longer sealed around that. But with that, this whole section is completely soft. This is something you could step right through. Also next to the chimney is metal that extends out. I believe it's probably the flashing from this, but that metal you can actually hear underneath. So the flat roof is obviously being repaired a bunch as well. So all of this sealant that's on these seams here is definitely indicator that it's been fixed in the past. Now, I want to point out that right here, this is where an end of one of these pieces, as you can see, they're about 4 feet long. This goes underneath the shingle up to about this portion here. With that, I can see that you've silicone below that. So that is true testament to the flat roofing, the rolled roofing that's here is failing even underneath these shingles here. So with that, your boot jacks are still shedding water. I always love to see that. Some of your flashing and with all the silicone and tar that you put around it, you can just tell that it's leaked in the past. Andy Taylor and Jake Wheeler here with Red Rock Roofing. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to get out here and to bring you up to speed. I apologize for the long video, but I want to detail one more thing. Anywhere where I've got circles up here that are drawn out, this is really soft wood. And you could probably get away with putting another roof on that, but if I can push it in, for me, that's definitely an indicator and want to detail it. There's another one over here where it's almost a pitch pocket right here, and you can see it. And again, hail up here also. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you.